Alright, here we go with day 2 of trying to recover our barn find Mercedes S-Class. Figured the easiest way to get this thing home is going to be to try to get that air system to pump up. The previous owner replaced 3 out of those 4 air struts, so they should hold air, hopefully. I think that was in the last couple of years he's done that. Hardly any miles on them, so they should be okay. But that compressor is not kicking on at all. So if we can get that compressor to fire, or a new one, then hopefully the car will rise and we'll be able to drive it back here and do a better assessment. But that is the plan for today. We're gonna try to get it off the ground, get a new compressor in it, and see if that works. So we've got some tools. We're gonna kind of take Buck's Garage a little mobile here today. And my truck is out of commission, so we are stuck with using the E-Class. So I've got a new compressor here. I've got a new compressor relay. We're gonna try that first. If that works, it's gonna be a super easy fix. But then I've got some low profile ramps and a low profile jack. And hopefully between those two, I can get the car up high enough to get the jack underneath it and get that front wheel off, get this new compressor in if I need to. So we're gonna head over to the location and see what happens. Okay, we are back on location with the S430. And first things first on a barn find is putting a new battery in it, because this thing is completely dead, not going to go anywhere. So we're going to get a battery in it. We're going to try to get it into a flat spot in the driveway over here so I can work on it. And then we'll start working on getting that air suspension to come up. So good looking car. It's really going to be kind of a fun project. Super long, lots of space in the back. Pretty dirty, it's been sitting for a long time. But should be a fun project once we get going with it, and we will check back in when it's where it's supposed to be. Alright, new battery is in its new home, which means our trunk is finally working. It's got a soft close and it was not closing all the way before, so we're good on that. So let's go for a start, see if this thing will run. Okay, I'm gonna give the previous owner a little bit of a hard time here, but it's okay because he's a friend of mine. Why don't people replace their hood struts? He's got a broom handle to hold the hood up on this thing, and I'm gonna tell him and all of you that hood struts cost about 15 bucks on Amazon and takes about 3 minutes to change them, and then your hood doesn't hit you in the head. So we're gonna do that first so I don't get pissed, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now that our hood is holding itself up and we've got it in the service position, thanks for that, Mercedes. There's basically 2 things that I found that are the main things that will keep this compressor from running. One of those is a relay. Usually that sticks and it makes the compressor run all the time. This one's not running at all, so it's probably not the relay, but it was like $8 bucks, so it's worth a shot. that would be the really simple fix for this thing. If not, then we need a new compressor. So I have purchased both of those. This is our new relay, straight from Hella, which is the OEM spec for this car. And then we do have a new compressor as well. So I'm going to try this relay and the fuse for the compressor first, which is going to be right over here in this panel here. And then we'll start the car up, see if it'll pump. If it won't, then we do have to get the car off the ground and get in behind here where the compressor is. And that's going to be a bit of a challenge with how low this car is sitting, but I've got some ideas for that too. So we're going to get to work, and fingers crossed one of these will work. Alright, well, obviously I'm not that lucky. Looked like the relay in there was actually pretty new, so I think it's been replaced before. Put the new one in, started the car up, and still no compressor, no vehicle movement at all. So it is time to try to get this new compressor in here. Like I showed you, this thing is sitting super low. Even with my low profile jack here, there's no way that's going under there. So I've got my low profile ramps, and I've got some miscellaneous wood here. So I'm going to start with the wood under the tires, get that up onto the ramps, get that up high enough so I can get the jack under it, and then we'll get this front wheel off and start working on getting that compressor out and getting the new one in. So here goes nothing.
There we go.
There it is.
Look at that. That's a compressor.
Looks original.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a replacement.
Yeah, 160,000 miles is probably enough for that,
I'd say.
One of the really fun things about working on cars is meeting other car guys and other mechanics. So Lyle's been over here helping me. He was a Harley mechanic for a long time, worked for the railroad as a conductor, brake guy. So cool to have his help and have him hanging out for the job. So we've got the old compressor out, and it looks pretty dang original, and it definitely wasn't making any noise. So I test fit the new one, as you probably saw, and it is making noise. So that's a good thing. This one is a little bit different. The intake tube is slightly different than on the other one, so that's kind of a challenge. But basically what you got is your intake tube here, and that's hooked to your air filter there. You've got your output tube for the air there, and then you've got two plugs. I've got a light hanging here, it looks like from that damage to the front bumper, and I have no idea what this is. This was taped up and just hanging here, but all we need for the compressor is these two plugs here. So they've got kind of this elaborate hanging system, springs and nuts and everything. So this is the bracket that it's hanging on right there. So we'll get this new one slapped in, and then we'll get the car back on the ground and get the system charged and see what's holding air and what's not.
Here we go.
My friend. "2,000 years later."
Well, now I don't hear it, do you?
I don't hear it now.
Yeah. Well, that's not what I was hoping for.
No. Yeah.
20 minutes later. Rise, my friend.
Yeah, there we go.
Now?
Yeah.
I think one of those plugs wasn't quite seated all the way.
Oh, they're all in it. Real good.
Yeah.
"2,000 years later."
Thank you, God.
Victory!
'Alright guys, the 2000 Mercedes S430 is back at Buck's garage now. Working good. It looks like one of the rear air struts is leaking. He replaced 3 out of 4. It looks like the passenger side rear is leaking because after I let the car sit for a while, it is sagging down on that side. Other than that, it looks to be holding pretty well, and those new air struts are getting a lot cheaper, so I might just end up replacing that and sticking with the air suspension for now. Other than that, the AC blows ice cold, stereo works, the seats work, all electronics and everything. It's throwing a code for brake liner because it has pads that don't have the sensors on them. But other than that, the car is running really good. So stay tuned to the channel. I'm gonna do some other stuff with the car. We're gonna get it cleaned up. I'm gonna try my hand at paint correction with the car. I've never done that before. I've always wanted to. This is a perfect candidate for that. Black car with plenty of scratches and stuff on it. So we'll get it cleaned up, do some paint correction, maybe work with the stance a little bit and kind of get it all shined up and see how it looks. And I'm excited to have a new project. You know, it's a lot different than the E. It's big, it doesn't handle quite the same, and this thing is not a great handling car to begin with. But it's super comfortable, it's huge. The really big thing, the really nice thing is the big back seat. I can have my front seat back as far as I want it, and I can sit behind it in the back and just have tons of leg room. So I might keep it around for just kind of a highway cruiser. Just have lots of space if I'm taking lots of people. But stay tuned, we'll see what we can do with this thing. And for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.